Hey everyone, this is Arthur Lisiaga with Good Times Radio TV. We're here at the Beat Kitchen in Chicago. We're here with the band Timbre. How are you guys?
Doing great.
Great, great. You guys just did one fantastic set, I gotta say. You guys are originally out of Nashville, correct?
Yeah, Nashville, Tennessee.
Very cool. And how many times have you guys played and performed here in Chicago?
6 or 7 times. I try to come through maybe twice a year.
Mm-hmm.
I love playing in Chicago.
Right on. So now you play the harp. I think that was very interesting because I actually met you guys in Jacksonville, Florida, and that's something that definitely stood out. I was like, I've never seen a band that has the harp and the lead vocalist singing while she's playing, and then you had the cello. I thought that was just insane. Man. I mean, like that combination, and then you guys have a drummer who even uses those what are those, like the mallets and everything.
Yeah.
So what got you guys into, I guess, just starting the band, getting the band Timbre together and getting the music going?
It's all you.
Okay. I've been playing harp since I was 8, so that's been like my life, my heart forever. I didn't start teaching, wrong word. I didn't start writing until I was in college, so it was all classical music up to that point.
Yeah.
And I did competitions, and I taught and played in symphonies, but it just always felt like I loved all that. I still really love classical music. Like, we both come from that background and just love it. But there was this sense that there was something beyond that I was supposed to do, like a sense of destiny and like calling, like something built into me that I was meant to do. And I'd felt that since I was a kid. I actually told my mom when I was 4 that I was going to be a harpist, and it was like fact. Like, I'm a harpist. I'm going to be, and you're going to find a way to make this happen. And so it wasn't until midway through college that, in the midst of this kind of like frustration of feeling unfulfilled, but loving what I was doing, but knowing there's something else, and then, but having no idea what it was. And I knew it had to do with the harp. But then I met a band in Nashville called Airline. They were this big local band, and they asked me to play harp on their CD release show, to play with them. And I'd written a couple songs at that point, but it was just for myself, like just things I played when I was alone with the harp. And they asked me to open for them as well. So out of the blue, I was playing this like 400 people show, and I didn't know how to adjust a mic stand. I didn't know what pickup was. Like, they had to do everything for me, and but it just felt so right, and it felt like that moment, the first moment on stage, like the bar went totally silent, and I was playing my songs for people that no one had ever heard them before, and it felt like it's hard to explain, but it felt like every line of my life had led up, and it was this moment where I was like exactly where I was supposed to be, exactly what I was supposed to be doing, and it just felt like me and what I'd been built for, and had no idea what was going to happen, and then from that moment, like, people were coming up to me after the show, like, when are you playing again, where's your CD? I was like, I don't know, I play the harp, I don't know what I'm doing. And but luckily some other bands in town kind of came alongside me, like, your music has value, let's help you do this. And so they started helping me get shows, and there's a couple other Nashville bands that took me on a short tour after, like, my first 3 or 4 shows were in front of tons of people, and then suddenly after that I was like, oh, there's my mom and my sister, and no one else is here because I didn't know how to do it. But anyway, so it took a lot to get from that first point of going from classical music to music that I was writing and playing in this world. But I started playing with just my family. So it was, my brother plays piano, my sister plays cello, my sister sings and plays a lot of random things. So it was just me and my family for a while, and then I started touring and taking other people with me. So it's been this kind of constantly evolving group of people.
Wow. How many years now have you been touring and just going around and doing what you love?
6 years, I think. 6 years.
Yeah.
I might be wrong on that, but yeah.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Very cool. So I bet even like the crowd responses definitely was a big inspiration then even write more and
Yeah. I mean, there was something about that was so different. Like, playing in the classical world, there's a lot of respect, and it's very it's very quiet and people are very involved, but it's a different kind of involvement. Like, it's almost a passive involvement where you're just taking it in. And like at shows, there's this energy that happens when you're on stage where people are like, you can almost feel like this back and forth, and that I'd never felt in the classical world. and I can't even explain why that's different.
Yeah.
But there's something about there's a connection that's happening, and you can feel when they're not feeling it, and you can feel when they are.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's incredible. There have been so many shows we're playing like big crowded bars or venues, and people are drunk and loud and just whatever, and we'll start playing and it just gets completely silent,
Yeah.
and people like will connect.
Yes.
And
just from the music
Yeah,
alone.
it's amazing when that happens.
Yeah. I feel something with classical music. It's like you don't really need those lyrics to tell that story. It's like that music is telling that story, and that's why the instruments you guys play are so unique as well. Because that's like that's something that I felt. You know, you guys didn't even have to sing, and I felt like a connection right then and there. I was like, wow. I play guitar, and I'm like, you know, I kind of get the music and everything.
Yeah.
That's very cool. And how long have you been playing cello?
I started playing when I was about 7, so I don't know. Do the quick math on that. It's been about 16 or 17 years.
Okay.
But yeah, I started playing. My parents made me start playing, and I didn't even like it until I was in high school. But I'm so glad they made me stick with it. So,
Wow.
Me too.
Definitely. How did you guys like end up, you know, hooking up, getting the like music and stuff?
Oh, wow.
It's really weird.
Yeah.
So I, as I was telling you before, I used to travel with like 6 or 7 people from another band, and then some of them got married to each other and moved to another state. So we had to have this time of transition over the past like year and a half, and I've just been essentially like drawing on friends that are musicians that put tour with me, because I don't really make enough money on the road to have like a hired band. There's more friends that believe in what I'm doing and want to come alongside me. So that's been kind of like shifting in and out for the past year and a half. So this past summer, Patrick is from Virginia, and I was on tour with some guys, and we came through and played a show completely randomly. Like we actually had a date, like where we didn't have a show. I put something on Facebook. This venue messaged me, like, yeah, we'd love to have you, you know, this random town. So we go, and it's the White Hart in Lynchburg, Virginia. We get there, I don't know anybody, but they're like super nice, and like he's a barista there, and a couple other people that I'm friends with now. And they just like embraced us, and we had the best time with them, and it's incredible shows, like packed out. People were so quiet and like responsive. So anyway, and the funny thing was, the guy that booked the show had this big house that we were gonna stay in. Like nobody was home. There were beds and a pool and like all a hot tub, and we were like super stoked. And then we met Patrick, and he was so cool. And we were like, we want to hang out with this guy. And he was like, hey, you can stay in my apartment. You can sleep on my floor. And we were like, house, too easy, this really cool guy.
Yeah.
And we decided to stay with Patrick, which now it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Now I would totally go stay at the nice house and sleep in the bed. But
Really not.
There's
Now
definitely-
that
yeah,
she
like-
knows me.
yeah, I know, right?
but it was, so we ended up staying at his house, and like he and his friends like bought wine and all these nice like things, and we sat around and talked through most of the night, and just connected amazingly. Like our group of friends connected with their group of friends. It was like this immediate sense of community. And while we're talking, I see this cello sitting in the corner out, just conveniently placed in the living room.
I didn't plan that, of course.
Supposedly. And I look over and I was kind of having a bit of an attitude. I was like, oh, do you really play cello, or are you like in a band and play the cello? And he was like, oh no, I really play the
That's
cello.
not what I said.
No, everybody else said that. Everybody
That's
else
not what I
said
said.
he really is a cellist. So I made him like get it out and play it for me, and I had some sheet music for my music, and I asked if he would sight read it with me, and it was perfect and wonderful, and I kind of freaked out, and I asked him what he was doing for the next couple of days, and stole him, and he didn't have to work, so he just got in the car with us the next day and did 2 days, do shows with us, just sight reading, and it was perfect, and we just all clicked, and it just was like this immediate friendship, and after that we just kept like having all these opportunities to play together, and it just made sense. So now
That's so great.
it's playing with me. It's awesome.
It's real interesting because on stage you guys are just so connected. It's like you guys are on the same page. So, like, you guys like literally on the same page, at least like when you're practicing. Like, because most bands we meet and stuff are more of just like, oh, play this chord. It's like, okay, and then they kind of. But do you guys usually go through sheet music first, and when you're learning the songs, or when you guys are kind of like writing them even, or do you guys kind of write them on sheet music first, or how do you guys go about that whole process?
The hard music isn't written out. It's just I write it out very specifically. Like I know exactly what I'm doing the whole time. But I do write out the street music, and of course part of it too is Patrick's just been playing with me, so we really haven't had a whole lot of time to write together. So it's more been like I'll write it out, and then he has the freedom to express it and like change it if he wants to.
Yeah.
So that's. Sorry.
Well, no, I'd just say that since both of us are classically trained, that helps a lot too, because there's a lot of communication that goes on in the classical world as far as like when you're playing that you don't see a lot with bands. But since we're both on that same page, like we know that when we look at each other at this time or when we breathe at this time, like that's what this means. So that helps a lot. And I'd say like the first show I ever played with her, like we had literally practiced the music for maybe like 3 minutes. I mean, like there was very little practice, but I mean, she's so good at communicating exactly what she wants and stuff that it went pretty smoothly from the beginning. So
that's so great. What kind of drives you guys on stage even? I mean, just like, I mean, is there something that kind of, you know, you guys like in like the music, is it within the music, or is it kind of like a sense of like, hey, you know, I'm up here just with friends, I'm not up here with people I hired and stuff, or, you know, I mean, because those, you know, those things definitely matter. Sometimes we'll be on stage and we'll be like, man, you know, I heard this guy and it's so great, but I mean, there's sometimes, you know, you're like Lance and it's like, oh yeah, I'm really feeling it. It's like, I don't know if they are. You know, sometimes, I mean, do you guys ever get that, you know, like on stage or?
I feel like it always feels very connected.
Okay.
And that's something really important for me. I never just hire people. Like, I want to have a relationship with them and like be people that I can stand behind and can stand behind me, and then I feel like because I think music is such a spiritual language, especially like, or I hope that my music is. It all has it all has purpose. It's none of it's just like fun, you know. I mean, it's joyful, but it all has a purpose. And so for me, I want to play with people that are going to be able to enter into that. That it's not just notes on a page or just notes I'm teaching them, or that we're writing. Like that it has life to it, and that we're all giving the same energy towards that life, if that makes sense.
Definitely.
So like, so it's really important that we all feel connected on stage, and that we're like all feeling and experiencing the same thing, and like feeling the spirit of what that song is about.
Yeah, definitely. And you guys may have already kind of mentioned this, but a lot of bands, you know, or even just like businesses in general, or anyone that has to, you know, that just keep on going, and you guys want to like really make something, build something. A lot of people have mission statements. So I guess in like a way, it's like, do you guys have like a mission statement, or just something that you guys want to bring to, I mean, you know, like your audience? Is it more of just like connecting with the music, or do you guys want to kind of change something, you know?
It's a hard question to answer because I want to use language that makes sense to a lot of people.
Yeah.
But I definitely have a clear purpose in my music, and that is to bring peace and like not just like peace to the world, but like actual peace in people's spirits, that they can feel peace and hope. Yeah. I think so many people in this generation don't have purpose and don't have hope, and like the very idea of hopelessness is to think that that hope does not exist, that you haven't felt it, you haven't touched it, you haven't seen it. And if I through music I can even give someone the slightest bit of hope, that they could feel and know that there is peace, that there is hope, that there are good things coming for them. I want them to know that and feel that, and I want them to be able to feel like that they are loved. And that's, you know, like it sounds like such a cliche thing, but like I think so few people really know it and feel it, and I want them to actually feel love in the music. Yeah. And not just like, oh, someone loves me, but like that they are loved, and that's a part of who they are.
Yeah. Can't take that away from them, right?
Yeah.
Definitely.
So that's hard to explain.
Yeah, but no, but
it
you
makes
know what?
a lot of sense in my mind. But
you explained it right. Honestly, I got it.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
I think I understand.
Yeah, right. Very cool. Why don't you guys tell our audience where that you can be contacted, like your website or anything like that?
I am on Facebook, so facebook.com/Timbre Harp, which Timbre is Timbre harp. I also have all my music on iTunes, and on Bandcamp as well is a good place to find it, which is just timbre.bandcamp.com.
Very good. And if you guys are ever in the Chicagoland area again, we'd love to get an interview with you guys in studio as well, and get you on the radio waves. So, right on. Very cool. Well, again, very cool. Yeah. Nice meeting you guys. Thanks for the interview. And again, this is Arthur Lisiaga with Good Times Radio TV. We'd like to thank again Timbre and the Beat Kitchen for allowing us to do this interview. You can check out these videos and more at tomorrowsalliance.com. Good Times Radio TV. Stay tuned.